So you want to mod Baldur's Gate 3? Well, you came to the right place, because in this video I'll be showing you how to use the in-game mod manager, the external mod manager, Vortex, some common problems to look out for to make sure that your modding experience is as smooth as possible. You can do a lot of things with mods, and that's the beauty of it. So I'll be starting off from the beginning here with the in-game mod manager, as this is the easiest way to download and install mods. This guide will also work for console, but I do expect to do a future video where I break things down for console, as it is a little bit more different in the way it works. But we want to go to the main menu first. So on your main menu here, you're going to see the mod manager. Notice that I do have another one here, the mod configuration menu. This will be another video in the future. It's not necessary unless you're using mods that require that. But going into the mod manager here, this is the main one. This is the in-game mod manager. So it's kind of the last stop before you jump into a game. You go between the browse here to find and install mods, and the installed tab. Now this is important because this is kind of where your mod load order comes from, and load orders in Baldur's Gate 3 are handled mostly through the modding manager here. However, you can kind of override it in a way with some particular ways. So for example, photo mode mods typically only allow you to use one at a time unless you use extra mods to enable that. But a way to get by this is to unenable the mod and then enable it again. It'll put it back into the load order and make it work properly. But for the most part, you're going to notice this is actually in alphabetical order. When it first launched, this was not the case, and you could actually shuffle it around. But we got to use the external mod manager if we really want to go around and mess with the mod load order, because right now in the in-game one, all you got is disabling and enabling. To actually download mods is honestly quite simple. So all you have to do is click on the mod that you want to download, for example, Mistress Spells here, and you just press the download button here. Now, this will take time depending on the size of the mod. You're gonna see here, this one is only 81 megabytes. This depends on your internet. I get a lot of questions regarding face and head mods, which typically are like 300, 400, 600 megabytes. And you gotta consider your internet. This is a little bit different on like PlayStation and Xbox as they're reaching the online servers. But when you're downloading things, you just gotta be mindful, because some of them, as you see there, 300 megabytes, you gotta take some time to download, as it's not gonna be perfectly fast. And it might surprise you the size of some mods, like the Moonlight Horn Collection here. It just adds in some new horns to the game. Really great mod, 363 megabytes. Versus Fade's Equipment Distribution All-in-One, which adds 400 new items into the game, and it's only 58 megabytes. I just want to discuss that because it's something I get a lot of comments around. But once you download it, it will show up in your installed tab in the alphabetical order. Now the tough part is disabling mods doesn't always work as smoothly as you'd want it to, especially item mods. If it's removing the file from the game, it can cause some issues. But the thing is, whenever you go to load into your game, it's going to prompt you on the mods that you may have missing or disabled. So this is kind of your last chance to fix it and re-enable it, as it can cause some issues. Now, another thing I want to mention is version mismatches. This has caused me a lot of issues, and it's caused a lot of other people issues. Now, if you're updating like a class mod, you need to spec out of that class if you're going to update it. But my personal recommendation is don't update mods unless it's like a super serious need, because typically the mod mismatches here cause some issues, and I've had multiple runs get just kind of deleted because of updates to mods, and it becomes a lot to manage. So I just want to mention that. It's typically recommended to not update until the run is over, or if it's like an item, throw it into the tutorial chest. And what I mean by the tutorial chest, there's a few different mods like the tutorial chest summoner or the cheater spells, the one that I recommend, where you can summon in the tutorial chest. This is important because this is where most of your items are going to end up when you download different equipment ones. So you can go ahead using the spell. It may cause a bit of lag for you. And then once you have it spawned in, go into turn-based mode. This is a requirement because it's only going to last for 5 turns. And you can see it there as a condition on your character. And then the tutorial chest here is kind of the one-stop shop for most mods. They're likely going to be putting them into here, as you can see. Now, this is, again, if you need to update a mod, you can, if you're using, let's say, this dagger mod here, you're going to throw this into the tutorial chest, and then it disappears in 5 turns, which just basically deletes it. I've seen some people say that they've had success with throwing items off of chasms, but yeah, it's a little bit easier to do it this way. But you'll get used to summoning in your tutorial chest. I have like 1,000+ items in here, so it does lag a little bit, but this is, again, a very important step here. So it's just to demonstrate, if I didn't want these daggers anymore, or if, let's say there's an update to this mod, just to be on the safe side, we're gonna put these items into the tutorial chest, and then whenever the 5 turns is up, we can leave our turn-based mode here. It's just gonna get rid of that item altogether from our game, so the file is out of there, and you're more safe to update it. I still wouldn't fully recommend it, but it's a better chance here of it not causing some issues. Another thing I do want to quickly mention, I get a lot of comments regarding it, is sometimes they're going to be listed as clothing or armor. Sometimes they're going to be a camp clothing. So it really just depends on what type of mod that you're using. And there's a lot of them that will have like split versions so you can use both. So that's just something. For class mods, you're going to go talk to wizards. I also would recommend just knowing what time that the subclass gets their, what class gets their subclass at. I put out a mod here, the College of Winter Spirit, and I had some comments saying that they weren't able to get it at level 1. It's a level 3 one. Just want to quickly mention that, as some people think that the mods break their saves or their classes, but just be mindful when they get the abilities. Now, if you're on PC and having issues, you can easily just jump back out to the main menu at any time and then swap around. And a big recommendation I want to make right now is if you're using a bunch of cosmetic mods, go through and create a new character, find the ones that you want to use, and then don't add the others, because sometimes if you have a bunch of mods and you start updating them, it could cause some issues down the road. This is just to prevent things from happening that may you not want to have happen. And it's just easy, because let's say you just download a hair mod and you're like, oh, I don't like this one. It's easier to remove it now than to save your save file. Because once you go into your saves here, you're gonna see this blue icon. This means that mods are enabled, and they're, again, not always the easiest to remove. And this is especially slippery if you're using honor mode. And next I'll show you the external mod manager. I like this one a lot. This is easy to find. I'll have the link in the description, but you can literally just search BG3 mod manager. You're gonna see the GitHub link here. This is made by LaughingLeader, so this is how you know you got the right one. And to download this, if you're not familiar with GitHub, we're gonna scroll down here. You're gonna see the setup, which has instructions. You have to run the game, make sure you have the net 8.0 and the latest C++ redistributable installed. And then you're gonna click here to grab the latest release. This is going to download the file. And then you're gonna take your file folder here and you're just gonna extract this. Find a spot that you like to have it extracted. I like to have mine in my documents here, and then you're gonna see the BG3 mod manager. This is an application, we're gonna use it. And you also have to extract it to a non-protected folder, so don't throw it in your program files. First time booting it up, you may see some duplicate mods to delete. If you wanna get rid of them, you can go ahead, click permanent there and delete them just to get them out of there. I have the game home, so it won't let me do that. Now, you may not see all your mods currently whenever you jump into it, but you just got to make sure that the pathways are done correctly, and if they're not, you can go into your settings and then open your preferences here. And you're just going to make sure that your game data path and executables path are both matching what they probably should be, depending on where you installed it. This will depend on if you did it from Steam or wherever it may be. But in here, there's also automatically check for updates. Make sure that this is checked off, because it will have updates and it'll do them automatically this way. Also, I like to have the DirectX 11 here checked on if you like using that version of the launcher instead of Vulkan. And yeah, you can just check all these here, make sure they line up. And then there's a save at the top. Now, get comfortable with saving, because this is something you want to do just to make sure that you don't have any issues here. So you can see here all the different mods that you got. They'll show green if it's a mod that you've made yourself, but you can just ignore all that. You can actually mess around with the mod load order here, see? So it is actually done in the alphabetical order, but what we can do is we can move this around. You're going to see up at the top here, we got the public profile. Make sure that that is correct. There's also the debug. If it's going to your debug, we need to make sure that it is not. And I also like to make sure the mod order is current here to the last exported. Now, there's a couple buttons that you're going to be pressing a lot. As mentioned, you're going to want to save it. Once you have this sorted out the way you want, then you go save and export to the load order here. Now, if you want to be able to download a mod, what you got to do is go to a website like Nexus Mods or Mod.io here. Both of these you can download. So from Mod.io, it's on the right-hand section of the screen here. You're going to scroll down, and then there's the download file. Although you could just do this through the in-game mod manager if it's on Mod.io. If it's on Nexus, like a Nexus exclusive, you can use Vortex. I actually found Vortex from patch 8 onwards has been working fantastic. I know I've said in the past it wasn't working that great, but it's working fantastic for me now. And you're just gonna go ahead here and do a manual download. You can go into the files here if you're not familiar, and then there's the mod manager or manual download. And then you're going to your files here, you're gonna have it, and then again, you're just gonna extract it here, and then this is gonna give you a file folder that has the .pack file. So this is what we're gonna do. If it's a different mod, there's a couple like WASD movement and native camera tweaks. I do have a separate video because those are different, but all you'll do is then go into here, drag it into your mod load order in the mod manager, and then go save, export, and make sure that it's on the campaign main there. You can also refresh this if you're finding that there's any issues. This will then pop up. I have the game running, so I can't do that, but yeah, you'll just go save, export, and then hop back into your game, and then you can go into the mod manager here, and you should see that it's still gonna show them in the alphabetical and numerical order here, but it's going to have it reflected. And for those that are not familiar with Vortex, again, it's working so much better now, but you're gonna have to add Baldur's Gate 3 as your mod database here. I may do a separate video just talking about Nexus mods and Vortex in general, but it works great. And again, you're just gonna select the mod manager download. I've had all these download and run fine, and it's kind of funny because some of them are ones that are actually in the Baldur's Gate 3 in-game mod manager themselves and worked fine with Vortex, where previously it would cause me all sorts of issues. So I'm using all three, and I have been for a while, and honestly, no real big issues. The only issues that I talked about were issues with if you update a mod that you're already like on a run with, and it's something like an equipment or a class mod. Again, you can spec out of it or remove the items to have a greater chance of it working, but that's just something you're rolling the dice with those type of things. So I just want to mention that before I get any comments saying, oh, Jay told me that it was possible. Just always know with modding, there is always an inherent risk. Now, another thing is mod conflictions. It's actually been a lot better from patch 8 onwards because a lot of modders are getting in a habit of putting different extensions, so there's no like compatibility issues. But they still do pop up from time to time. So one of the most downloaded mods is the Imp UI mod, which most mods nowadays don't actually require because it's kind of rolled up into the game. There is a lot of different mods like that, so just keep an eye out on what you're downloading and installing. And my personal recommendations, if you're going to install mods, do it in small batches. I would say one at a time, but you know how it is with mods. Sometimes you want to download 100 at a time. Just being mindful that it may cause issues. Like there's some mod out there, like if you found a particular equipment one that you wanted to install, it may cause others to not appear in the tutorial chest or maybe some of the other games from the base game. So just be mindful that there are sometimes some conflictions, so it's better to do them in smaller batches so that you can see, oh, the tutorial chest is no longer working. It must have been one of these last 3 mods that I downloaded. But yeah, I'll do a future video where I go in a bit more detail for console because things are a little bit different there. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'm always pretty quick to help out with these, and I do have some other guides on how to download and install mods, but I just wanted to do an updated one for patch 8 in 2026 here, the Happy New Year. So yeah, let me know again if you got any questions. Hit the subscribe button below if this video was useful, and I hope you guys all have an incredible day. We'll see you in the next one.